Hola a todos, welcome to the channel, the Teacher Emporium. Today we're going to look at the character sheet for my D&D adventure for the Spanish classroom, and specifically we're going to look at how combat and non-combat challenges work in the game. But first, I'd definitely recommend filling out one of the character sheets, and if you need some guidance on that, you can check out a previous video that I did. I'll put that in a link in the description below. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so now that you've got your character sheet set up, we're going to talk about these two categories specifically here and here. This habilidades, your abilities, and your competencia, your proficiency. Again, I've tweaked this a little bit in this version of the games. It's a less complicated than in the original. So for your 6 categories here, you've put your modifiers here. And then also based on your class, hopefully you came down here and once you just determined what level you were, you are also going to add any of these extras to those abilities as well, just to modify them even a little bit more in that realm, right? So for example, wizard is going to get a little more intelligence and a little more wisdom. If you're going with a warrior, you're going to get a little more strength and even a little more strength as you level into 2, 3, or 4, right? So based on where you start your game level at, you'll want to add those. So you add the original modifiers, you added the extras from your specialty modifiers, and now those are the numbers you are going to use in the game for any kind of challenges that you face. So let's say, for example, your character is about to cross a river, and they need to do a skill check for that. So you need to determine what skill that would require. Well, it depends. If you're swimming, I would say that's probably going to be your constitution or your endurance, how well you can swim. Or if you're crossing a log, perhaps that is more dexterity or your skill. Can you balance across the log, right? And the game master will have a number set up that is a difficulty class, a DC. So let's say the difficulty class for crossing this river is a 10. So you have to roll a dexterity. Let's say you're crossing the log there. A dexterity roll of 10. So you're going to roll a d20 die. You're going to add any of your modifier here, and that's going to give you your total number. So let's say you roll the d20 and you get an 8, but you have a +2 on your dexterity. That gives you the 10 you need. It just has to be equal to or greater than that difficulty class in order to succeed. So you were successful in crossing the log. All right. If you had rolled less than that, then perhaps you failed crossing the log and you fell into the river, and now you have to do another skill check to see if you can swim, right? Just an example. So let's talk about how this works, and that's how it works with all of your non-combat challenges that you'll face during the game. Attacking works very similarly. We just need to add a few extra things. So you have all of your modifiers here. If you get into a situation where you are now attacking a monster, you are going to continually using these abilities, but only 2 of them in my version of the game. Again, I've simplified this. So we're only going to be using, anytime you're in an attack, you're going to be using either strength or wisdom, and that's going to depend on the type of attack you're making. Strength is going to be for all melee attacks, including your distance attacks from bows and things like that. And again, I know that's different than the original, but simplifying that. So all melee attacks, either short range or long range, are going to be fuerza or strength, and all of your spells are going to be wisdom. So very similar to the challenges as I described earlier with crossing the river, you're going to roll to see if your attack is successful. So let's say I roll an 8, and then I'm going to add my modifier by my strength. So let's say I'm attacking with a sword, and my modifier on my strength happens to be a 2. So my roll was an 8 plus 2, I get 10. But here's the final step that's different. You are also going to add this competencia, which means proficiency, right? So we're going to assume that you are proficient with the sword and that you are trained with it and you can use it well. So we're going to add a +2 on top of that, which would give me a total of 12. Right? And if I were doing a spell, it'd be the same thing, except for I would use my sabiduría, my wisdom. So I would roll my 8. If I had a 1 here, I would add that. That would give me 9. And then I'm going to add this +2 here as proficiency, which would give me 11. So every time you attack, you will be adding one of these 2. Again, this is only for attacks. You do not add these when you're doing simple challenges like climbing a rope, crossing a river, etc. only when attacked. So ladies and gents, there you have it. That is the basics of the character sheet for my version of the game. And if you are interested in jumping into that adventure, you can find that in a link in the description below. It is broken down step by step all the way through with hyperlinks. And so you have a smooth story to tell, and your students have clear options into which way they go through the adventure as they run into several different monsters. So, thank you so much for watching the video today. If you found value in this content, please consider liking and subscribing. That would really help me out, and have a fantastic day. Ciao.